What? Give us point four, Ben.
So, point four is probably one of the biggest, and it's also one of the biggest ignored, and that is not paying attention to backups and security.
Wow. So what is a backup and what is
A
security?
lot of small business owners do not realize how vulnerable their website can be when it goes live on the internet for anybody to access.
Why is that?
Because daily, every single day, there are malicious hackers out there who are attempting to break into websites just like yours for their own malicious purposes.
Hey, wait. I'm just like the plumber in Las Vegas. Why? I'm not Edward Snowden or anybody like that. Why the hell would that happen to
It
my
doesn't
website?
matter if you're a small business, if you're a no-name website, or if you're a big company. Everybody is vulnerable to being hacked.
Wow. Okay. So what do you do to not be hacked?
Well, you need to take proper security measures on your site, and that's where a qualified web design web design company and developer, as well as a qualified SEO, will be able to help you with these sort of things.
Okay. So and what are you gonna do? I mean, is this another mumbo jumbo thing? What are you gonna
There's
do
a
to make
lot
it
of
secure?
technical aspects to
Right.
making sure that your site is properly secure.
Okay.
And that's where it comes into making sure that you hire somebody who's qualified. And there's oftentimes monthly recurring fees with these sort of things because making sure your site is secure requires proper maintenance every single month. Things like, for example, backups.
Okay.
Because even the most secured website is still vulnerable to being hacked. So, in that circumstance, you want to have a backup of your website. So, a question to ask yourself is what security measures do you have in place on your website? And how often are you backing up your website?
And that's something you should ask your web development
Right,
firm when you're
right.
doing this.
That is one service you do not want to skimp on. Because if your website isn't being backed up, if you are not paying attention to website security, your website can get hacked and it might not be recoverable. You can lose thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars from some, they call them script kiddies. So a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old who might just want to have some fun on the internet, they might not even be a professional hacker. That doesn't mean they can't break into your website. You could have an amateur hacker who just wants to test his skills out there,
And boom.
and he can hack into your website. Your website's destroyed. It might not be recoverable. You can lose all of your online revenue just by not paying attention to security, just by not paying attention to backing up your website.
That's crazy.
So an important think of it from this perspective. Say you just hired a web designer who maybe you paid $1,500, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, whatever. You paid them money to build your website. So that's an investment on your part. Not to mention all the revenue that your website is generating. Imagine your website's generating $10,000 a month, or maybe more. Let's say generating $100,000 a month, maybe more. You'd be crazy not to spend an extra 50, $100 a month, whatever your web design or development company charges in order to maintain a secure site with regular backups. Is it really worth saving that little bit of extra money every single month and potentially risking losing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in potential revenue, as well as your investment in the development and design of your site, just to save a few extra bucks?
You've absolutely hit this on the nail, and I think it's like insurance.
It is insurance. Proper security measures and regular backups. That is your website's insurance policy. That is the life insurance of your website. In case it goes down, in case something happens, in case somebody decides to have some fun and somehow manages to get around the security measures that you might already have in place.
Which is usually none, right? Because the plumber's
u-
doing plumbing, not
It's
websites.
usually none, right? It's usually none. Web design companies are not website security experts most of the time.
Also, that's
A
another
lot,
one.
a lot of the time, this is what they do. They design the website that you want, and they just hand it off to you. And they say, "Here you go. Here's your website." Okay, but they're not paying attention to the SEO. They're not paying attention to the security. They're not paying attention to the backups. They're just concerned with delivering you the website that you want, and then taking your money, and then they move on to the next client. But a website takes maintenance. You need to constantly tune it up. Just like you take your car into the mechanic to get your oil changed, to get all your fluids checked, to make sure that your brakes work well, your website needs a tune-up. It needs that tune-up to make sure that it's still secure, to make sure that you're getting the backups that you need.
Perfect. I think that wraps it up for this point,
Right, that wraps it up.